Brendan, you're the only guy left on the roster from the 2014 conference final when, along with Carey. And he just expressed how exciting it is for him to get back to this stage of the playoffs. For you personally, do you sense any difference in the way Carey expresses that excitement and that enthusiasm or appreciation for being able to get to this stage again?
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see it in his demeanor right now. He's locked in. He's he's ready for any challenge. Obviously, going back to last time we were here, it was pretty disappointing for him. Getting injured game one and then having to watch us eventually lose. So you can see, he's definitely excited, definitely hungry for the opportunity, and it's pretty nice to play in front of a guy with that mentality.
Thanks, John. Our next question comes from Chantel McAbee.
Thank you very much. Brendan, your line will probably play against the Stone, Pacioretty, and Stevenson line. How do you see this confrontation?
I mean, it's going to be the same as we handled the last two series, going up against some of the most dangerous players in the world. It's as a unit. I think obviously 5 guys on the ice got to do the job. You're not always going to get the matchup you want, but when you're on the ice, you know how dangerous these guys can be. So you try and limit their time and space like anyone else. You know how dangerous they are. I think we're pretty familiar with a couple of those guys. And as the series goes on, you learn more and more. So try and play them hard, try to limit their time and space, but they're good players, going to make things happen. You just have to try and limit those opportunities.
Thanks, Chantel. Our next question comes from JF Shamat.
Hi, Brendan. You played your first 6 season in the NHL with Max Pacioretty. Now you're going to be facing Max in the Final Four. What's the biggest thing that you've learned from Max over your days in Montreal?
Yeah, I mean, Patch went through a lot in Montreal, obviously. Happy for him, happy for the success he's had here in Vegas. But in terms of this series, those relationships are they're in the past for a couple of weeks. I think we have to focus on what we need to focus on. He's going to do his own thing. It's probably going to be an emotional time for him for sure. A lot of memories and stuff like that. But for us right now, we're just keeping our mindset as simple as possible. And, those relationships are kind of in the past, and you can get back to whatever you had, in the next couple of weeks. But for the time being, it's all business right now.
We'll take a question for Ben from JP Morosi.
Thank you very much. Ben, what do you think makes Carey Price so elite at rebound control?
You know what? I'm not a goalie, so that'd be a better question for a goalie. But he's super athletic. He's so calm in the net. Playing, with the defense in front of him, it makes it easy on us when there's not a lot of loose pucks laying around. So, sorry, I can't really give you much of an answer on that one. I don't have much experience being a goalie.
Thanks, JP. Our next question comes from Eric Engels.
Hey, this is a question for Ben. Ben, outside of his skill set, which is rather obvious, what makes Nick Suzuki such a central part of your success? What is it in his character, his demeanor, that has enabled him to make such an impact at such a young age?
Yeah, you know what, he's mature beyond his years. He's 21, but you would never know being around him. Definitely one of the most mature young players I've seen, and I think that's why he's considered one of the best young players in the league today. So maturity is a big part of it. His first year, you could see he just kind of was quiet, and he'd sit and watch the older players and see how guys go about their business, and you could kind of see him kind of learning and growing every month. He'd get a little bit better, and playoff time, he's a gamer, and he loves being in those big situations. So I think maturity and just the fact that he loves being on the big stage is why he's had so much success for us.
We'll take 2 more questions for Ben and Brendan. Next question comes from Arpan Basu.
Hey, this is a question for Brendan. You've said in the past about your path to the NHL that more than proving people wrong, you wanted to prove the people who supported you right, which is an important distinction to make. But I'm just considering your expertise in being an underdog. I don't know how else to put it. Is there something that you can draw from that as a team in this situation when I think you would agree that you are the underdog in this series?
And that's, that'd be a problem if we didn't have the belief in our locker room. I think, when we started this whole thing at the start of the year, we had the same goal in mind, and every single guy believed in it, regardless of what, outside of room might have thought. We got off to a great start. I think, people started to believe in us, went through a dip in the middle of the season, and a lot of people probably jumped off the bandwagon. But for us in the room, the belief stayed the same, the goal stayed the same, and then starting the playoffs off, it was kind of the same way. People may have doubted us, but for us in the locker room, we had belief in each other. So it's the same thing going into this series. We know what type of team that we are. We know how we have to play to have success. And then this whole week leading up to this has been making sure that we're going to be sharp and pick up where we left off. The perception of our group doesn't mean a whole lot outside the locker room. It's more so just how we feel inside it. And as of now, we have a lot of belief, and hopefully that continues going forward.
Thank you. And our last question comes from David Shea.
Hi, Brendan. I was just curious in terms of Cole Caufield, what he's brought to your group, maybe not just on the ice, but in terms of the energy to the locker room and having that youthful exuberance, things like that.
Yeah, he's been great. I think the guys have enjoyed having him around the locker room. A real happy kid, always has a smile on his face, and you can see how eager he is to learn from every opportunity. I think he's, since he's been called up to our group, he's been watching, he's been learning, listening to everything that the coaches have told him, and he's been effective. He's helped our team. We obviously put him in a position where we rely on him now, and he's been performing. So yeah, he's been great. I think the energy that he brings to our group, and we can feed off that. Just a happy kid, smile on his face every day, comes ready to work. So you can never have too much of that.
Thank you for your time, guys.